So this story takes place in 1968, 1970 in Brooklyn. The narrator is 15 years old. He has 4 sisters, and the family is led by a patriarch with a big problem. And most of the time is difficult to deal with, but once in a while he does something really nice, like as I will describe in this chapter. One Sunday morning we came down to breakfast and found himself slumped on the kitchen floor, back against the white enameled oven door. Mom leaned against the sink, sipping a cup of coffee in her pink flannel nightgown, and looked down at him as if trying to figure out how she was going to lift him or if she was just going to leave him there. He was conked out. If you screamed in his ear, he wouldn't have heard you. We found him passed out before, usually at the kitchen table, but never on the floor. Did he fall off the kitchen chair? He looked like the guys you saw on the Bowery. How do you come home like that? So drunk you just collapse. I didn't want to see him like that and almost went back to my room until Mom hustled him upstairs. I waited with my sisters in the dining room for the okay to walk in. Mom put the coffee cup down and waved us over. I went first. She lit a cigarette on the gas burner and took a long drag on it. She's all yours, she said, pointing. As shocked as we were to see himself in such bad shape, the bigger surprise was the dog. She was reclining next to his bent left leg, a tricolor collie blinking at us in the most bewildered way, as if she were waiting for us to tell her what she was doing here in our kitchen. She was really very striking, even beautiful. Her coat was mainly black, her forelegs were brown, her paws and chest white. Her snout was longer and narrower than most collies, with a thin stripe of white in the brown. It gave her a slightly aristocratic air. In this house, she was going to need it. Like me, my sisters were half asleep. Ringlets of damp hair stuck to their necks and temples. Maureen immediately knelt to pet the dog. Look at you, she said into the dog's confused, melancholy face. She looked up at Mom. Where'd she come from? Your father brought her home from the bar. Where else? Who wants coffee? The aroma of a freshly pared pot filled the kitchen. I raised my hand. I do. Maureen glanced at Dad. He's really smelling, Mom. I didn't plan to get that close. A thread of drool hung down from his lip, a pack of Pall Malls crushed in his shirt pocket. I checked the clock over the kitchen window, 8 a.m. Maureen gently unbent his leg to free the animal. Now Dad was sitting with his legs spread out in front of him, blocking the way to the sink. Standing on the other side, Mom poured coffee into cups that she took from the drain board and passed them over Dad's head to Dee Dee, who put them on the table. Let's get her some water, Maureen said. Mom filled the Tupperware cereal bowl and passed it to Maureen. The collie lapped up half of it and then reclined on the floor next to himself, crossing her front paws, master and pet in repose. Ooh, she's such a lady, I said. Definitely not the saloon sort. What did he say when he brought her in? What was there to say, Mom said, flustered. He opened the door and said, I got something here for the kids. I looked out at the front porch and there she was. Having the dog there made it possible to overlook himself, as if he were a sofa too cumbersome to move. Well, she's pretty and that's nice, Patty said. What's her name? I don't know if she has one, Mom said, wiping her glasses on a hand towel. I think that's up to you kids. We all looked at her. Well, we could name her after the bar where he found her, I said. Maureen shot me a rueful look. Like what, Dewdrop? We are not naming her Dewdrop, said Patty. Don't be such an ass. No, I think we'll name her Queenie, Maureen said. She was always so pushy. Hey, who says you get to decide? Mom took a ratty leather harness off the closet doorknob and handed it to Maureen. Before you worry about giving her a name, why don't you get dressed and take her out for a walk? Your father swore she was house-trained. We threw our clothes on and walked the dog together, the 5 of us, me, Maureen, Patty, and our 2 youngest sisters, Dee Dee and Mary Ellen. I found my sneakers under the couch in the living room and helped Maureen put the harness on the dog. I felt the hairless skin under her coat. Himself was grumbling on the kitchen floor. Go on now while I get him up to bed, Mom said. I'm gonna skip. There were only a few things Queenie hated: baths, firecrackers, and bars. I discovered that one night when Dad called home asking Mom for money so he could stay out and drink. Mom was using her lowest possible voice as she talked to him on the phone. I knew she didn't want to give him 5 cents. Then she hung up, called me over, and asked me to give her the pocketbook on the dining room table. She took a $10 bill from her change purse and handed it to me. Take this to your father. When? Now. I had finished my French and geometry homework and was getting ready to watch The Avengers. Never missed an episode. Dinah in a wig and a leather jumpsuit doing karate on the bad guys, then changing into something sleek at the end for a martini with Mr. Steve. I could walk from one end of Brooklyn to the other and not find any girl as cool or witty or elegant. I imagine her picking me up after school in her blue Lotus Elan convertible, long brown hair blowing in the breeze as we headed off to some adventure. She would call me Nick, not Nicky, and I'd feel about 10 years older. The only place I was going now was the Dewdrop, and Mom knew from my expression I didn't want to go. He says to take the dog with you. Queenie, napping in front of the television, coarse wisp of hair rising off her coat, didn't look like she wanted to go anywhere. Why do I have to bring her? Mom bit off the words, it will take 10 minutes, do me a favor, take the dog. I walked up Church Avenue, heading toward Nostrum. Our neighborhood was more black than white now. The streetscape I used to know was changed forever. Roti shops had replaced grocery stores. Guy's Hair Salon, with its sun-bleached pictures of women with blonde beehives and champagne bouffants taped to the windows, was now called De Heoisms and advertised weaves, wigs, and afros. Himself wanted me to bring the dog for protection in case I ran into any trouble, but I didn't think I'd have any problems. Now that it was colder, the corner boys who usually lingered in front of the bodega on New York Avenue drinking Colt 45s were gone. The few guys I passed sidestepped at me as if they were afraid of the dog. Little did they know that she hardly ever barked when she first came to live with us, so it was hard to imagine her biting anybody. The Dewdrop was on the corner of Church and Fairview Place, 6 blocks from home. Queenie trotted at my side, her coat shiny under a dark blue sky. Something strange happened as we approached the bar. Queenie pulled up the leash. I looked down at her and said, "What's wrong?" I took another step and she dragged her hind legs on the sidewalk, claws on her forelegs scraping the concrete. I stopped. She gave me a frightened look. She knew more about this place than I did. I didn't know what to do, so I bent down and petted her. I glanced at the bar. Cardboard shamrocks were taped to the window, decorations someone forgot to take down. It was already October, or maybe every day was St. Patrick's Day at the Dewdrop. Thank you.